and shadows fall, I'll be beside you whenever you call. When worries weigh heavy and fears take flight, I'll be your strength, guiding through the night. And when the days are dark and heavy on your heart, I'll be the voice to guide you through the dim. Strong walls may crumble, but within you've got the spark. Just turn the key, let light dissolve the grim. Did you think you were alone in your feelings? Strike a match, let your inner strength be seen. Welcome to all things serious. In the depths of your despair, where demons roam, I'll be the hand to hold. You're never alone. When storms rage fierce and winds blow strong, I'll be the shelter in your soul where you belong. Welcome to all things serious.
Welcome in, everybody. How are we all doing today? Well, I would cam up, but I got a migraine from hell. If you guys can relate to that. What's going on, Susie? How you doing? Nightwolf, Prairie, Dave G. How you doing? So earlier, I was on a good friend's panel. His name's Angel. I'm going to ask you guys a question once more people start coming in. Haley, how you doing? Nice seeing you here, you and Prairie. So I came across an individual. And before I mention this individual, I'm not even going to drop names. But for most of you who are part of this channel and have been here for a while, what's going on, Gregory, the cameraman? Just waiting for more people to jump in. Nightwolf, Susie, and Dave G, I got a question for you guys. Have I ever come across to you as a therapist? Just wondering. Just wondering. Just want to get the feel. Or just somebody who likes helping other people. So there is a guy on YouTube that's starting to jump around to different panels. And he'll eventually try to come to my panel. Eventually. Acting that way. Claiming to be that. You know, and I don't think that's right. Helping, yes. When people are struggling with something and somebody can understand or relate or just listen is what matters. Yes, Susie. So, do I suffer with a lot? Yes. Do I share my story? Yes. Do I like to help people? Yes. That's what we're here for, is helping others. And that's what matters. Some of us struggle, and we always need a hand. And that's the reason why I created this channel. So I will open up this panel for people to come up, and if they want to hang out and talk and just get to know me as a person, you're more than welcome to come up and ask questions. Okay. This channel is a safe place to come and talk. We don't judge people here. We don't criticize people here. You know, if you're struggling with anything, this is the place to come to. I'm waiting for some of my mods to jump in so they can start dropping my email address. So yes, no drama, Dave. No drama. We don't like drama here. I think I can make it through the migraine for right now. So people can see what I look like. I'll cam up like I normally do, just so you guys can get a personal know of who I am as a person. I usually cam up on every live stream, and just talk to you guys. Usually I have a topic. Like I'll talk about depression. I'll talk about bipolar. I'll talk about, specific subjects that people relate to, you know. But as of lately, I've been going through a lot myself mentally. So I haven't been, choosing topics to talk about. Yeah, I got to get some Epsom salt there, Dave. I got to get some Epsom salt. Welcome in, Angel. How you doing? It's good seeing you, young fella. Let me do this. Let me pin this message. Oh, my friend Susie's coming up on panel. You shut your camera off if you want to, Susie. You there?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Susie.
Okay. Somehow I've got an echo.
Do you have YouTube playing in the background?
Oh, I know what it is. Okay, that's better.
Okay.
Okay. Um, I don't think anybody this would be news to anybody, but Chris and I met in an NA meeting,
Yep.
and I have been to NA. I've been to AA. Um, and the reason those groups work because they're never led by a professional.
Nope.
The reason those groups work is because it's an addict helping an addict. Just like what you're doing here is you suffer from mental illness or a disorder of some sort, and people can come in here and share their stories and get comfort in the fact that they are not alone, and that's all these self-help programs are meant to do. And I think that you do this very well. I think your group feels safe. I feel like they think that they can come in, and there are boundaries to what you can say because you don't know what someone else is suffering, and you can just as easily trigger them into a relapse or um, an episode that they're
Yep.
not ready to deal with. My
That's
camera's not hooked up, so I can't be on camera. Sorry.
okay. So this is the reason why I started this channel is for people like me. Okay. I am a recovered alcoholic. I've been, struggling with it for the past 13 years, sobriety. I was an alcoholic for 15. So I've been there and done that. Okay. And it's still a struggle because I live with it every day. Rosalie, how you doing? Good seeing you in chat. I started this channel back in August of last year. I came from the true crime community. That's where I originally started. And a couple of cases were very triggering to me. So I'm like, I need a break from true crime and I want to talk about mental health, my struggle. And then I realized there was a lot of people in my community that struggled similar to me. and we started helping each other and leaning on each other. So I just kept moving forward with this channel, and I don't like regurgitating the same thing over and over again. But sometimes you have to, because you get new people coming in that don't understand certain people's struggles. So I like to educate, you know what I'm saying? And at the same time, I'm educating myself.
Exactly.
So we educate each other and we show support for each other. You never know when somebody is struggling with something. You never know. And some people are afraid to stick their hand out and say, "Can you grab it and help me?"
Right. And I think one of the things that makes a platform like yours so appealing is that it's not focused on the alcohol. It's not focused on drug addiction. It's not focused on SA or anything like that. It's a broad band because let's face it, there is so many people. In fact, I would venture a guess that 99.9% of the people in the world suffer from some type of mental illness, depression, alcoholism,
Or or
eating
or
disorders,
or have suffered.
or right. I mean,
Because
you know,
sadness is all over the place.
well,
Okay.
I'll give my example. I have suffered from chronic depression probably most of my life,
Yes.
and it basically went untreated, especially as a child, because well, nobody realized realized I was suffering from depression. Um, so it's like they didn't have child psychologists back in the 60s like they have now,
Yes.
and so you know it I that depression led me to do some really
Yep.
strange, sick way of thinking things. Nothing illegal until I got into the drugs. Um, Nothing that would harm anyone, but just things that I'm not overly proud of today. And so sometimes it's good to come in and listen to other people's stories because then it makes me feel like I'm not the only one who did these kind of things or felt this kind of way. And most of the time I seem like I'm okay and I've got it all together and I can, get up in the morning and go about my daily business, I don't always have it all together. I'm not always the most well adjusted person in the world. And again, I'll say thank God for Chris because if it hadn't been for him, I probably would have died in the gutter. And I know he felt the same way about me. So, having people like you have here to come in and talk and give their situations, it might even make mine. If I listen to somebody else's story and it's, you know, uh, the stories are worse than anything I ever went through, and then I can count myself as fortunate, and I can reach out and thank this person for sharing because it made me realize that I'm actually quite lucky, and that will tend to bring me out of a depression, realizing that somebody else. It's like the old story: you can't don't complain about having to walk someplace until you've seen a person that doesn't have any feet.
Yep.
That's something along those lines. I never get it right, but anyway, and that's all I've got. If somebody else wants to come up and share, I'm more than willing to back out.
So you know when I met your husband, okay, he would joke.
Yes, he would.
the first joke I ever heard, I didn't know it at first until afterwards. He told me he used to be 6'3" until he lost a few feet.
2 feet.
Yes.
Right.
And I thought he was joking,
He was.
right? Until he showed on camera that he was
Mhm.
serious.
Yes, but he was making a joke out of it.
Yeah, he was.
And it because that was the way it is what it is. That's what he used
Yes,
to say.
yes. And he accepted
And
it.
he had um a very good attitude about it from day one. Now, I will say when he lost the second leg below the knee, the right leg below the knee, he was okay with that too. Because he had an injury that was never going to heal, and we were going to, years of going back and forth to the doctor and skin grafts, and we had just been through that with his left leg, and he could not do it again with the right leg.
Yep.
So he said, let's just put an end to it right now. Go ahead and take it off and be done with it. And when he got the prosthetic for the right leg, he did really super well walking around on stilts. That's what he said it was like. He said it's like walking around on stilts, and I've done that a lot, being in construction.
Yep.
What really threw him into a tizzy was losing the knee, and especially because it was due to a bad prosthetic, which we had told the guy was bad from the get go, and he refused to remake it. And by the
Wow.
time we realized just how bad it had already damaged the bone so bad that it could not be, um,
Repaired.
yeah, it couldn't be repaired. So they had to take his knee. And then he was never able to really get up and do, and that broke his heart. And the more I had to do for him, the more he constantly apologized for it. And I'm sorry. It is what it is. It's just a thing.
Yep.
And here's something else I'm gonna say, and if anybody else feels the same way, if you've ever been in this position, please let me know, because I have been hearing over the past, what is it, 11 days now? Oh, well, it's so hard being a caregiver, and nobody ever gives you credit for being a caregiver. Yes, I've been a caregiver most of my life, to my mom, to my dad, to people I don't even really know. And but with him, I was not his caregiver. I was his wife. And what I did for him, I did for the commitment that I made. Y- Yeah, okay. I'm a very good caregiver, so everything has always led me to this. But I never thought of what I was doing for him was giving him care. I was loving him. I was doing what I promised I would do in sickness and in health, and all that, the covenants that I made between him and me and
Yep.
our higher power, that is what I was doing. So the whole caregiver thing really kind of upset me a little bit when people started saying that. I didn't do for him because I'm a good caregiver. I did for him because I loved him,
Yeah, that's what mattered.
and
It's
he
all
knew
that
that.
matters. Yep. What's going on, Erica? How you doing? Good seeing you in here. So, I think when you care about somebody and you love that person, I think um, caregiver is out of the question.
Right.
I wouldn't call yourself a caregiver, especially if that person's family.
Well, I'll say this too. I've done my share of therapy over the
Yeah.
years. Um, the first time I ever went to therapy, I want to say I was 21 or 22. And my sister came home from work one day. She's a registered nurse. She comes home from work and asks me, "What the devil were you thinking talking about this person and you've actually been with this person?" And I said, "Excuse me? Wh- ho- ho- what are you talking about?" "Well, I know that you've confessed this to your therapist today because she told me." And it's like, it was the first time I'd ever gone to somebody to talk to because I was trying to work through something that had happened with this person that, again, I'm not going to go into it. It wasn't a bad
Yep.
thing, but it was unexpected. And it kind of bothered me that I allowed that to happen. And, um, but for the therapist to go to somebody, now she did not know that Vicky was my sister. She did not know that we were related in any way, shape, or form, although if she'd have thought about it, we looked just alike, so I don't know how she couldn't know that. But the fact that she shared it with anyone, there's supposed to be a total that's supposed to be totally off limits to talk about.
HIPAA
But
laws.
when the well, they didn't have HIPAA laws back then, but it was supposed to be private.
Yep.
And I do believe there's an oath that they take that says they'll never discuss. But she even told the person my name. If she had just said, "Oh, I got this young girl in today, and this is what she was talking about," and blah 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 blah, that might have been okay. But for her to tell my name, that just blew me away. So other therapists that I've been through over the years have done me, a world of good. But one of the first things they want to label me as is codependent, because at the age of 16, my junior year in high school, I had to come straight home from school and take care of my dad because my mom had to work. My dad was dying of cancer. And then he died a week before my 17th birthday. Then there was, you know, a few years where I really didn't have to give care to anyone, but I did for my mom because my mom worked hard. And so I would cook dinner, I would, do up the dishes. I would, if she wanted a cup of coffee, I'd get up and get her a cup of coffee. I don't see that as codependent. I see that as loving someone and considering them as being, they're tired. I'm great. I've been home all day. I, can do, well, I went to school, but then, I come home. And then we did things like that for each other. It wasn't just me doing for her. So I didn't consider that codependent. But then when she got sick, I had to take care of her. And the therapist tells me, "Oh, you were codependent." No, I was a caregiver. And that has been my lot in life, was to be a caregiver. So to label me as codependent because I'm good at what I do, I mean, I was an aide at the hospital for like 2 years, and I had patients all the time. In fact, I had one come back like 20 years later and tell me how much she appreciated the good care I gave her because I'm good at it. I care
Yep.
about people. I'm not going to say I'm quite an empath. I can't take their pain away, but I can certainly understand and
Well,
put myself in their position.
an empath is someone who's able to allow somebody to trauma dump on them.
Well, and I was willing to allow these people. I mean, like I said, I love being in the field of doing a service of giving care, but that does not mean that I'm codependent. But I will say that this past 11 days has been really, really hard because it's truly the first time in my life I haven't had to think about somebody else. I haven't. My daughter is independent on her own, and now Chris is gone, and I don't have. I get up in the morning and I think there's something I should be doing. And of course, the only thing I really have to do is get rid of stuff, clean the house, that kind of thing. But so this is the first time in my life I haven't really had anybody that I needed to take care of or do for. And I thought it would be freeing, but it's really not. It's going to take a while to wrap my head around it, I think. So
You just got to take it one day at a time.
that's what I'm doing, trying to stay as positive as I can.
You know, um, do you have my number, Miss Susie?
I believe I do. I don't think I've thrown it away. I recall that Chris had me write it down for him. It's on a piece of paper that was
I'll
on my
message it to you in Discord
Okay, that's great.
because there's sometimes I'm not always active on Discord,
Right.
or if I am, I get the messages hours too late and I reply. But I do reply, just never on a timely basis. But if
Right.
I have a phone specifically for all things serious, and I will pass that to you in Discord so you can have it. So if you're going through anything and you need just to talk, you can shoot me a text message and I'll get it.
Okay, thank you.
So, and just let chat know if we're conversating about a specific subject and it's triggering, like Lisa posted. I have what they call a safe word. It's called
Thor,
Thor.
I've listened.
Thank
And let me say tonight, Wolf, I am proud of what I've done in my life, and the fact that I love with all my heart, and I think that's a good thing. So I'm pleased with that. And I'm not seriously. I thought I would be in a really bad depression by now, and I'm not, and that's encouraging to me. But I know that this is just the beginning too, and so I'm, just really trying to stay positive and walk forward and not let that depression sink in.
Nicola. Um, that's one thing. So a lot of you haven't heard the news, and some of you have heard the news. But I will be moving back home to Florida um, in October. So yes, things are coming together slowly, but things are about to change drastically for me and my mother.
Make sure you have good air conditioner.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm from Florida, born and raised.
I wasn't born here, but I've been here a lot longer than I've been anyplace else. I was 11 when we came here, and I'm 65 now. Thank you, Anna's Dragonfly.
And the thing is with Florida, I get healthy quick.
Oh yeah.
I shed some pounds.
Well, when Chris first moved here, he was a diabetic,
Yeah,
and they had him on both an oral medication and insulin.
yep,
And so he would, take his oral medication religiously. And then he started having these issues with his blood sugar dropping to nothing. And I said, Chris, you can control, because of the job that you do, you can control your diabetes with diet and exercise, because you get out there and you sweat all that sugar out of your system. So don't take your medication. Otherwise, you run the risk of dropping into a coma because it dropped too low. And he was a fragile diabetic, so it was really hard for him to take medication at any time because his sugar would just drop for absolutely no reason. So I always kept peanut butter and, sweets handy that I, could get down him right away. But anyway, I'm sorry, y'all, if I'm talking about Chris. It's just
It's your husband.
I know, but I don't want to. I don't. I was talking to another friend last night about this. I don't want to. I don't ever want to put it out there like I'm asking for sympathy. I'm not. I, I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me. I don't want anybody to worry about me. Um, should I be in the chat and say something odd that it doesn't sound like me, then yes, call me on it because that's how my depression sneaks in. It
You
it
want to know something? He was part of this community like everybody else, and he was loved like everybody else is loved, and he was a friend. Um, and, you know, he passed away, and, that was the love of your life. And it's
yes, it
still,
was.
a fresh wound.
But let me do
Okay.
tell the community, um, yes, he loved you guys too. I mean, I'd be sitting over on my computer playing my stupid little games and all that, and next thing I know, I'm getting, "Oh, well, Eddie's gonna go live because I get notifications on my phone, and, he said, "Yeah, I just got the notice on my little computer." So, getting him set up on the laptop so that he could sit and listen to you and talk to you and chat with you without being on the big TV,
Yep.
it was a real joy for him to be able to connect with all of you. And he'd get off and he'd say, "Oh, well, so and so said this and so that," and then, "Hey, they were talking about this, and you know what? I think that might have been something that I went through myself," because he had a lot of experiences that I don't even know about.
Yep.
Um, but one of the big things was the autism conversation that you all had.
Yep.
And he said, "And, I'm not so sure I'm not a little autistic." Because his mom always said she would put him in his playpen in the morning with a single toy, and he wouldn't make a sound all day. She'd have to come back and make sure he was okay because he was just sitting there for hours and hours and hours playing with that one little toy and wouldn't make a sound. And then when he got big enough to, if he got a hold of something, he had to take it apart and put it back together again. Had to take it apart just to see what was inside it.
Yeah, that's how my son is, my oldest.
And he was, I think he said he was 8 when a lady at church gave him a book. Was it a Guinness Book of World Records? I don't remember, but anyway, it was. She inscribed it to the most inquisitive mind I have ever met because he questioned everything.
You
He
got to.
wanted to know how everything worked, how everything fit together. And like I said, he'd take everything apart and put it back together just to see how it worked. So, and that's the kind of person, and he rarely forgot anything. If he read it, he remembered it. If he heard it, he would remember it. He might not remember all the little mind. He said he used to have data banks in his head full of useless information.
That's a lot of us.
Yeah,
I have I have useless information. I rather have useful information.
yeah.
I rather have useful knowledge of things that I could talk about. But some of the stuff that I have in my head. Take care, Lisa. I will talk to you soon after you go swimming. So, um, me, I was more growing up. I was a visual learner. Okay,
Hmm.
I had to be hands on to learn something. I could watch a YouTube video and not understand it, but I could go and put my hands on the motor and ask a question. Where is it located as I'm working on it? Oh, there it is.
Mhm.
Okay, there's 3 bolts here. Yes, take them off, and there's this behind it as I'm doing it.
Right.
Somebody's walking me through it. So I learn it as I go. So now I work on my own vehicles, but now that's getting expensive.
Well, it's harder too because of all the darned electronics.
Yes. I wish I could go back to I had a 1987 Monte Carlo, and that was
Mhm.
very little electronics.
Right.
Very little. It still had a carburetor. So it wasn't fuel injected, so I miss it. I miss it.
Yeah, he used to work on our vehicles as well. Um, in fact, he my daughter thought that he was a great mechanic. He said, "No, I'm not a mechanic. I'm poor. I can't afford to pay someone to work on my car." So, first thing he did when he got a new used car was go buy a Chilton's manual for it so that he could have all the schematics and everything that he needed to be able to fix what was wrong with that car. And he
Yep.
told my daughter that. And after that point in time, and how old was she then? Probably in her early 20s at the time.
Yep.
She went and bought a Chilton manuals, and as long as it now she's driving a Silverado. It's a big massive truck that has
What's
all
going
the
on, Jen? How you doing? Sorry.
it's okay. But it has all this electronics in it that you have to take it to somebody who knows what they're doing. And that just angers her so much because she can go out and she's got an old truck, like a 72 Ford truck,
Which is so easy to work on.
and she fixes anything that's wrong with that truck. And it's beat up, and she's always wanting me to drive it when I don't have a car. And I hate the truck. I can't see over the steering wheel. I hate it. And she laughs at me all the time because I said, "It's too big." And she said, "Mom, you used to drive a semi truck. This isn't that big." So,
uh,
okay, yeah, I'll give you that one.
I'm trying to get a pickup truck. I'm looking for a pickup truck for when I get down to Florida, um, for work. I want to get
Where are
into
you? Where
for
in Florida?
scrapping.
Where in Florida are
Central,
you coming?
North Central.
North
No, not
Central,
North Central, but north of Orlando.
north of Orlando. Damn, too
Yes.
bad you're not coming a little closer to me. My daughter actually has a truck that's for sale.
What kind of truck is it?
It's a Ford. I want to say it's an F-150,
What
but I
year
could
is
be
it?
wrong. I'm not sure about that. It's it's not her little truck is a 92, and I think that this one is older than that. Not really sure.
Oh, I need a
But
big
it
truck
oh, and
with an
she has one.
extended cab. eight
Well,
foot bed.
that's what this the little F1 has is an extended truck. She wants me to take it because my car is just about dead. But it needs a new transmission in it, and I don't.
Oh, that truck that's for sale needs a new transmission.
Yeah, she didn't know that when she bought it. She knew there was something wrong with it, but she didn't know what was wrong with it.
If it's
And
the '80s model Ford F-150, um, is it an automatic or a standard?
excuse me, automatic.
Them transmissions are heavy
Yeah.
because they're bulky.
Well, she has the means to have it fixed, and that's what the goal is to have it fixed, which is why she can't just give it to me.
Yeah.
If she fixes it, then because of she needs to sell it to get the money back for the transmission more than anything. But I don't know. D- ha- Did you probably? My daughter is such a redneck. It's absolutely pathetic. She was born and raised right here in Okeechobee, and it is a dairy, beef, cattle ranching area, right? It was mostly dairy, but there are some beef cattle around. And it's one of those things when you move to Okeechobee, you kick over a cow chip and that gets in your boots and now you can never leave. And if you do leave, that's going to drag you back. It's one of those places that if you've ever lived here, you're not ever going to happily get away. So,
That's why I can't wait to move back to my home.
right.
You know, my whole family's down there. My little brother's down there. You know, my dad's down there. My
Well, that's what
uncles, my
I
aunts.
I have a friend who wants me to move to North Carolina so he can take care of me. Well, I don't need to be taken care of. I need to do this on my own. Um, and I don't want to move to North Carolina. Okeechobee is my home.
Yep.
I've been here since I was 11 years old. My parents are buried here. My sister's not buried here, but and then my other sister is here. My daughter's here. I don't want to leave Okeechobee. This is my home.
Yeah. You know, home is where your heart is.
And that's what Chris had to say because he hated Okeechobee. He hated Florida. He did not want to be here, but he knew that it was my home and I loved it and he wasn't going to take me away from it. He tried and it didn't work. It didn't work.
Home is
7
where the
months
heart is.
7 months we spent in Arkansas with his friends and his family, and I was absolutely miserable. I hated it, but I was there for him, and if as long as he wanted to stay there, I would have stayed there. But things happened, and we packed up in a night and headed back to Florida, and we crossed the Florida state line. It says, "Welcome to Florida, the Sunshine State," and I literally broke down and cried. It's so good to be home. I'm almost home.
So thank you for coming up, Susie, and talking.
Yeah, let me get off of here and let somebody else come up because I didn't mean to monopolize the whole conversation. I just wanted to let you know you do a great job, and don't let anybody tell you any different because you may not have a million followers yet, but people come to you because it is a nice, safe haven to dump if they need to dump. And thank you all for being there for me. Thank you for being there for Chris. He loved you guys, and I'll talk to all of you again. I'm gonna get off. Bye.
Bye. Well, thank you everybody for being here. And Night Wolf, I'll answer that question for you in Discord. There's things I talk about on this channel, and there's things I don't talk about on this channel. Um, but uh, for people who have like pre-existing health conditions like asthma and stuff like that, breathing issues, Florida is a good place for it because of its humidity, especially if you have asthma. But Florida is a beautiful state too, especially the area I'm from. Very beautiful. Haley, thank you for being here. All the new people, thank you for being here and hanging out with us. Haley, are you in Discord by any chance? Question. If you are, send me an email and I'll drop you the link to Discord. Prairie, if you're on Discord, let me know and I'll send you a link. I'll drop my email address. Okay, you've never been in Discord? Well, I have a platform. All Things Serious is a platform on Discord that anybody can get a hold of me there. Or if you're struggling with anything and you need somebody to talk to, that's my Google Voice number. So you can shoot me a text and I'll respond. If you're struggling with something, if you're going through anything, I'm easy to get a hold of. I will tell you that. I'm easy to get a hold of. I might not respond right away, but I'll get back to you within the same day. So, but I want to thank you guys for being here. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. And depending on how I'm feeling, I do late night streams, Who's Awake. So depending on how I'm feeling, I'll probably do Who's Awake tonight at 2:30, well, in the morning. So, all right, everybody. All Things Serious is out, friends.
Let's talk about the mind for a minute. The kind of battle's fought, you don't just win it. It's a war zone inside, no camouflage. Every thought's a grenade, sitting ready to barrage. Growing up, they said man up, but never speak up. So I bottled it all, like a shaking soda cup. Pressure building inside, I could feel it crack. But the world outside only sees the mask, not the fact. Depression knocking at the door, anxiety's my guest. They invited themselves in, now I'm under duress. But mental health ain't a weakness, it's the strength to own. Every scar, every tear, every struggle we've honed.
It's okay not to be okay. Don't let anyone take your light away. In the darkness, you'll find your voice. Speak your truth, make your choice. It's okay not to be okay. Don't let anyone take your light away. In the darkness, you'll find your voice. Speak your truth, make your choice.
Stigma's like a shadow, it follows you around. But I'm breaking the silence, gonna tear it down. Got therapy sessions, journaling pages, finding peace in the chaos, flipping life stages. Self-love's a journey, not a destination. Gotta navigate the pitfalls, find your elevation. No shame asking for help, we all need a hand. Together we rise like a hip-hop band. So let's rewrite the narrative, redefine the game. Mental health ain't just a buzzword, it's our flame. Illuminate the darkness, spark the conversation. All things serious and mental health, a powerful nation.
It's okay not to be okay. Don't let anyone take your light away. In the darkness, you'll find your voice. Speak your truth, make your choice. It's okay not to be okay. Don't let anyone take your light away. In the darkness, you'll find your voice. Speak your truth, make your choice.
All my warriors fighting in the shadows, know you're not alone. We're a pack of arrows, piercing through the stigma, breaking chains. All things serious and mental health, rewriting our refrains. So let's keep spitting verses, sharing our stories. Hip-hop about mental health, reclaiming our glories. One beat, one rhyme, one soul at a time. Together we'll shine in this rhythm and rhyme.
It's okay not to be okay. Don't let anyone take your light away. In the darkness, you'll find your voice. Speak your truth, make your choice.
To all my warriors fighting in the shadows, know you're not alone. We're a pack of arrows, piercing through the stigma, breaking chains.